Bye guys. Sorry, I'm late.
Don't worry.
You're good.
Only like an hour. Oh, this is actually really cool. Why would you scratch the paper?
I'm not. It was
I
folded
thought
down.
you were just scratching
I'm
it like
unfolding it. I'm making it neater.
Give it a little tickle. Little tickle for the paper. Say true.
Ooh, just green paper. Just blank green paper.
It's true.
In my
We're
folder.
like we're making it for the Hunger Bank. We're making like flip up signs, so we're just like putting statistics on little piece of paper.
I like it. Nice color. I'm here, Glen Grove.
Oh my god.
It's too bright. Oh, we would have
What
field
was
days.
the crocodile song?
Oh.
We are the students of the school. No, that's Westbrook. We
No,
always
that is
follow
Westbrook.
the
That's
golden rule.
We are the colors of the blue and green. We have school spirit like you never
guys, we
seen.
actually need to
This is
study.
part
This
two.
is important.
Part two.
Working together, lots of fun. Striving for excellence to reach out. We shall finish it. Putting our best foot forward, heart and soul. We walk like gamers, we talk like kids. We feel a sense of pride in all we do. Respectful, resourceful, and responsible. We are Glen Grove School. Do-do-do-do-do. Charge! But we're
That was not
alligators.
planned, actually. That genuinely was not scripted planned.
It's just like you're sitting here with
So with us.
Genuinely, like,
Yeah,
okay.
No, but
Okay,
actually you
fine.
need to study me.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry.
What was the Westbrook one?
Oh my god, no. This is productivity. We're being productive.
Okay, yeah, I remember.
I hate it.
Resumes?
Hmm?
You hate resumes? Yeah, I get you. I hate this one. I had to make a German one for this one. I was planning to do
I haven't made my resume yet.
It's okay. For like engineering, like, they're very strict. Like freshman year, like pretty early, you have to make like a really good resume because you use it for like a lot of things. But it's very different worlds. Like engineering, they're like weird.
I mean, like, I'm
You
a
want
theater
to.
major. You would think I would have a resume.
That's true. That's very true. Oh, the theater resumes are very different.
No, yeah, but I don't have like a work resume.
Yeah. Adna, how do you feel about me using your computer and putting on like a study music?
I'm sure.
I'm just gonna have nothing to work on, Jack. But okay.
She can take this paper.
Oh, okay.
You want the green paper, or you can get the strong resume paper?
What were the colors of Westbrook?
Red and black.
Really?
Yeah. And white.
And white, because panda, but
They also have the
mostly
red in there.
yeah. Red, black, and
Oh,
white.
I don't remember that.
If you actually want to keep your computer, you can keep
No, it's okay. Pull it up what you want. No, I'll put it on
No,
my phone.
it's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. I don't have my glasses, so everything is like really fuzzy when I'm trying to.
Wait. You're near or farsighted?
My glasses make things easier to see close up. So does that
Farsighted.
mean farsighted?
Yeah, that's so weird how like that's a thing to me. So weird to me how that's a thing.
I'm also farsighted.
That's so like you guys can see things
Like,
these
it's
are
easier
far
for you to see
away
things that are far away,
and
right?
close.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's just like
But it's not like oh 1,000 feet away here is right there in front of me nothing. It's more like when things get like closer than like here, it's
1,000
kind of
feet
blurry.
away,
Like mine's are like focused.
clear as day. I like that. You didn't make that a rap. Called the
I
glasses
did.
rap.
Oh, you did? Okay, I'm just
I
making
unmuted-
sure.
No, I thought I unmuted it.
Okay, just make sure it's in the bottom right corner. You know how Windows works.
I know, that's what I did. In the bottom right corner. Wait,
Windows.
I may have clicked a different speaker on accident. No, there's only one option. What the
I
heck?
just do this one.
I guess it just wasn't
Is
loud
this your
enough.
planner?
No,
What is that?
it's like a Polish Bosnian.
You speak Polish?
I don't.
Are you learning Polish?
Philip is
Little
learning
raccoon
Bosnian.
studies.
Randomly, like he picked it up, and when he was studying abroad in Vienna, his like friends and his like close family were Bosnian and Croatian, so he was like exposed to the culture.
Oh, yeah.
And like he lived right across from like a Balkan bar, so he's been randomly like he literally speaks. Like he can have a conversation with me. It's very interesting.
That's incredible.
That's really cool.
Can Maeve see it?
Impressive. I hope so. Actually, no.
I'll check. No, I'll check. Put it a little bit closer.
There's actually it's really good advice from here. Something I should have been doing is just following up with people. I never do, and then it's a little late to follow up with people.
You feel like someone you had an interview with?
No, like we had a career fair, and like after the career fair, you're supposed to if like you have really good conversation with people and they really like you, and they're like, oh yeah, we'll consider your resume, or like sometimes they say, oh we'll take in your resume and then go apply like on your own or whatever. You're supposed to then like email them a couple of days later and say thank you for giving me your time at the career fair. I really enjoyed talking with you. I would love an opportunity, and a lot of times they'll just say like they'll just point you towards like the application, whatever. But it's like really good. They love to see that you're still engaging with them. Like it really was a meaningful experience for you, so much that you're like reaching out to them again.
Oh.
And it helps that like you stick in their mind a little bit.
Maybe I should have read through that.
Maybe I should read through it.
No, I should.
Oh. I mean,
I haven't had an opportunity in which I would need that, but like that's a good
Maeve's
thing.
trying to study.
Sorry.
So rude.
Okay, I'm setting a timer. 5. I'm not saying anything to you guys.
Can we make snacks?
TV Jordan, we're studying right now.
I study
Downs-
better with snacks.
Downstairs, you know where everything is, like the water and stuff. Up, you'll see like a little jar of pretzel crisps, and also Cheez-Its are up there. I don't know what else we have. You can take whatever you want. There's also, I think there's
You want
ice.
anything?
There's ice cream in the freezer
Oh
too.
my god.
So check what you let. Literally, you help yourself. Our raccoon buddy's doing well.
Yeah, I love him so much. Literally, all my final studying. That raccoon is with me through it all.
This pop-up ad says #1 reason men pull away. The biggest mistake women make that kills a man's attraction. BeIrresistible.com.
Oh, be irresistible. My bad. I didn't realize that was what I was supposed to be doing. Like, senior student. Like, another senior.
It's funny, when I was at the Career Center, she was showing me like someone's resume. Oh, I forgot we had those.
Those are great. I actually know those are pushing.
And they like blanked out the
Costco.
name, but I was reading the profile, and I'm like, I know exactly who this is.
Who was it?
Yeah, this
It
Costco.
was one of
Costco's
like
a
my senior
national.
friends.
Costco's a national chain. They're Costco's all over the country.
They didn't have a Costco in Kentucky?
Yeah, I'm not saying they have one everywhere in the world. Like, everywhere. I think they have Costco's in California and Maryland and stuff.
Is there only one in Illinois?
No,
No, there's a
so
bunch.
many.
Yeah, there's a
Where are
bunch.
the other Costco?
There's one in Mount Prospect, because we go to that one.
I know. I don't know. I don't even know where Mount Prospect is related to here, but I just know like when driving north, like if you were going to like Six Flags or something, you pass like
I've
one
really
on the
only
other
seen
side.
one Costco in my entire life.
Oh no, yeah, there's a bunch actually. There's one like probably a 10 or 15 minute drive from my house. Pretty nice.
I'm pretty sure there's the one. It's the one in Michigan. It's like Canadians didn't have don't have a Costco up there, so like they're right on the border. So a lot of them like drive across into the Michigan,
Wow.
or the
They
Wisconsin.
cross the border
Yeah,
just to get
like they
grocery
drive over
shopping?
to go to
They-
I
Costco.
mean,
to
like
go
that
through
that
customs on the way
happens in
back.
Germany,
I
but
have
like
no idea.
Well, because in the EU, people would do
They
that.
would
Makes
do
a
it all
ton of
the time.
sense. Because like there's different prices, different cost of living and stuff.
and I know that Frida was really annoyed because all the Swedish people
I mean,
went
Swiss
to
people.
Swiss, not Swedish.
Oh yeah, which is interesting though, because they're not. Switzerland isn't in the EU. I wonder.
But they would cross the
their
border
cost of
for
living.
grocery shopping.
Yeah, no, Yannick talked about that all the time, and how people would live in Switzerland, and where there's a really high cost of living, but then they drive over to Germany to get cheaper groceries.
Yeah.
Or how people would, in Germany, like their like retribution was they live in Germany where it's a really low cost of living, but they work in Switzerland where you get paid more money, so the high cost of living is
Do we make then multiple videos, or can just like stop and continue on of us studying, or just have this be one continuum and we split it up as we want?
Maybe
I
you
don't know,
could do
man,
it
what
the
do you
way you want.
Yeah.
I guess she could pause at any point.
Yeah, I mean, like us talking probably doesning help you with your
Yeah.
studying.
I agree.
Full stop.
But if you want like white noise,
We're just here to provide you with company.
oh,
Yeah. If you don't use it, we're not offended.
I'll be offended.
Jordan will be.
Not everything's about you. Thanks, Maeve. Who was that?
This is. I'm the brother.
Should we keep this video going? Alright, Miss. Welcome to
Our crib.
Mother's household.
He's a postal person,
Huh.
but it wasn't even for us. I don't know how they got in the building. They just dropped us back.
How did you figure all that out that quickly?
I opened the door. I looked, package on the ground. It wasn't for us. Looked outside. It was a male person walking away.
Is this kind of house called a condo?
Yeah.
So what's the difference between a condo and an apartment?
You could actually be around here. I think condos, like, sometimes, well, you own a condo. People usually own condos, right? And then
Yeah,
condos
yeah.
have multiple
An
floors. You
apartment.
rent an apartment.
Yeah, and apartments you use the one floor.
Yeah.
One side.
Sad.
Is there any other difference? That's the only thing I've ever known.
That's only
I
thing I've
would
known
say
either, as well.
So in Friends, where they live, like Joey, or not Joey, Monica and
Rachel.
Chandler.
Yeah. Well,
Like I mean, I guess everyone's lived there
yeah,
at one point.
That's a good one.
Is that a condo or is that
That's
an
an apartment. They rent it. They don't own it.
I thought they did own it
No.
because their grandmother like gave it to them.
I think they're. Well, maybe then the one like I always think of it on the right side, but I'm not supposed to be right.
The
direction,
boys
but
one, predominantly.
maybe the boys one is rented and the other one is not. But I would still say it's an apartment, not a. So it's like a huge apartment complex that they're on like the 10th story or something. I don't know if you know what story.
Yeah, but they have a
There's
really
something
high
they're hiding.
ceiling. What are they hiding?
They're hiding something about like the fact that like the grandma actually passed away and like she's not living there anymore. They just like assumed that property wasn't it? Like wasn't that
Yeah,
the
which
plot
leads
point?
me to believe that they own it.
Or like maybe it's like she had a different like rate rent rate
Mm.
because there's the grandma living there, so they're trying to like.
Gotcha.
But I don't know because they're always trying to hide something from the landlord.
I think they've referred to it as their apartment before.
Also,
Like because in the episode, it's called The One with the Embryos. It's the one where they play the game and Joey and Chandler win over the girls' apartment. Like
yeah,
they switch apartments. They say like, "I love this apartment." There's like a Rachel quote. She's like, "This is a girl's apartment. That's a boy's apartment." You know. I feel like they do a couple of partners.
Do you think we'll ever live together in some permutation at some point in our life?
I feel like we'd love to, but I don't know if it'll happen. That was like really sad. I don't know. I feel like I can see it happening, maybe, but
You know,
I
like, I
feel
can
like we're all
see you
gonna
and
be
me
randomly.
living together at some point in time.
That'd be cool. I like that. But I think, like, in terms of like all 5 of us at least, it'd be hard because like
Yeah.
I think we're all just gonna be taken to very different places. Like, it's just naturally how it works. Like.
But maybe some of us will live near each other.
Oh, true. No, for sure. Like, eventually, for sure. I think that's like right out of college. For a lot of people, at least looking at my sister's friend group as an example, like that you just kind of like end up going wherever there happens to be like a job. You know, there's not a lot of like freedom to choose. Like, oh, I want to be in this place or this place. Like,
And then like I'll adjust.
yes,
like,
exactly.
yeah.
A lot of
I
times, like,
disagree. I'm gonna choose my place first. Because if I'm not happy in a place, then the job isn't worth it for me.
well, I get that. I just mean like a lot of times like there won't be like a lot of like, especially for new graduates and stuff. Sometimes it's hard. Like, you don't like, it's not like, oh well, I have an offer in all these different cities, I'm gonna choose one. A lot of times it's like literally the only place that offers me a job is like there's one place in Texas and there's one place in California. I guess I have to live in one of those 2 places. You know, like at least for a lot of engineers, but like I know a lot of Steph's friends like have kind of been spread out. Like, I mean, some people are still in school of that group too. Like Steph is, and that kind of brings people places too. Yeah, like Steph's at Johns Hopkins for grad school, and her friend Ryan is actually at Michigan, I think this is his last year at Michigan for grad school. But sometimes school or just like jobs kind of drag you in different corners of the country. I don't know. I mean, I'd like to think eventually maybe we'd all be together again, but I know like right out of college is hard because like sometimes that's like one of the times when you sometimes whether it be school or job, are kind of like you don't really have a lot of choice where you're gonna be. I'm gonna be in Michigan in 50 years.
In 50 years?
For a 5th year.
Oh, I thought you said in 50 years. I'm like,
No.
why in 50 years?
And only 50. For the next 49 years, I will not.
So you're getting your master's?
Yeah, I'm in the engineering honors program now, and part of that is like you're required to stay a 5th year to get your master's.
But you're still gonna walk your
Probably.
4th year, yeah?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'll still have a bachelor's degree by that time, so yeah, probably.
That's exciting.
It's exciting. It'll be fun.
Would you live in your same house?
I have no clue. Montana's probably also going to just stay a 5th year and get a master's. So Montana and I might end up getting places too, because Mackenzie's only going to do 3 years. He's 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah, I mean, like, he has, a lot of us, like, could graduate in 3 years, just, like, if we don't do any minors or any other cool classes or
Right.
stuff. And Mackenzie's very much like, he's like,
He
I
just
don't have
wants
a,
to work.
well, he wants to work, but he also doesn't want to pay for, like, an extra year or 2 when he doesn't need to. And for computer science, you don't need a master's, really. You can, but, like, you can work for Google or Facebook and only have a bachelor's degree, especially from Michigan, which is a really good computer science program. So Mackenzie's like, oh, I'm doing 3 and I'm out of here.
Do companies actually look at what school you came from? Like, does that play a
Oh
big
my-
factor?
That's a huge factor. Yeah, that's like one of the biggest factors. You could have like a horrible GPA, but you went to Michigan for computer science or for engineering, and like
Versus, like, if you went to Denison
I mean,
and had a good
Yeah.
GPA?
yeah,
Because
yeah. it would-
Denison's a great school, it's just small.
oh no, I mean it's not necessarily like a big or large school. It just comes like the engineering. There's a lot of like rankings. And
Yeah.
There's a lot of like it's
Oh,
very
I doubt
competitive
Denison's
and
ranked in engineering.
yeah, it's just like it doesn't even matter like the size of the school or anything like that. Like very small schools or very big schools, all different places in the rankings. But like if you like I'll just use computer science as an example.
And
That's the
companies
most
pay
competitive.
attention to that.
That's like one of the things they care about the most. They'd rather like by far is like just school you went to and I guess like some internship experience you have. That's literally the only
That's
thing they care
really
about.
stressful.
Oh yeah.
So do people, like, transfer out of schools if they get an opportunity to go to a higher ranked school?
People transfer into Michigan all the time. People don't really transfer out of Michigan, at least for engineering.
So what's, like, top rank for engineering?
I mean, the list varies slightly every year, and I think like the way they do the rankings is kind of bogus, but like it's not the most.
Because like there was a girl who transferred out of Illinois Wesleyan. She was physics major. She wanted to do like quantum physics. So like
Oh, wow.
she like racked up like her GPA at Illinois Wesleyan, I think for 3 years. I don't know what grade she did, for 2 or 3 years, and then she then applied to Washington University in St. Louis.
Yeah, that's a great answer.
Yeah, then is there now, so she transferred over.
But for just a year?
I don't know what grade she was. I'm pretty sure she's senior this year, but like either there's financial reasons or grade reasons, but like all sorts of reasons she could have transferred out of Illinois Wesleyan. But ultimately, like if she wants to pursue a career in quantum physics, like that's the place she wanted to end up eventually,
Yeah.
and not Illinois Wesleyan, a liberal arts school.
Yeah, the rankings are like, I mean, part of the way they do it, I think, is like kind of, it's not biased, but like it's like kind of arbitrary, like the ranking system. Like it's hard to put a number on like,
Right.
things, but just like the generally accepted like really good engineering schools are like key if you want to like. I mean, like having a degree in mechanical engineering, no matter where it's from, is still like really good.
Right.
But like if two people, regardless of other things, have like a mechanical engineering degree from like Michigan or from a random school the person has never heard of, it's like a lot. Like they really like.
So it's Michigan. What are the other? Are they all Big Ten schools?
Not all of them. I mean, some of them are, but like Stanford's not Big Ten. They're really good
Yeah.
engineering. Like Purdue is really good engineering.
Oh yeah.
Washington, St. Louis is pretty good. So like ranked a little bit lower than usually, like Michigan, Purdue, Stanford. Like obviously Harvard has really good.
But you were
engineering.
really interested in Northwestern. Do they have a good engineering program?
It's pretty good engineering. It's like around the same level as like Michigan and Purdue and Stanford and all those. It's very different. Like the reason I liked Northwestern was it was closer and it had a little bit worse engineering program, but it is a little bit better like some other things, and I liked the idea of
Having other
being more
things?
well-rounded. Yeah, being
Yeah.
a more well-rounded person. Yeah, the engineering program. There's kind of different types of engineering programs too in Michigan Northwestern. Like Michigan, because it's a big school, has a ton of resources, so we have like these huge like warehouse spaces that are just labs.
Is
for people.
Northwestern not big?
I mean, it's a really small school. It's like 8,000 undergrads, less than that.
It's not really small.
Compared to,
Look at who you're talking to.
I guess comparatively, we have like 15 or 20,000
Okay,
just
yeah.
in. No, that's the exaggeration. But we have probably a little under 10,000 just in the School of Engineering, and there's the whole rest of the school, you know. So
How many people are?
like undergrad at Michigan is like I'd say between 35 and 40,000 undergrads.
Isn't that wild?
Do you ever get really overwhelmed by the amount of people?
No, because like
How many people are in Glenview? That's more than the population of Glenview.
no, it's Glenview's bigger. Glenview's like 45,000 or so.
Really?
Because like it's cool, like naturally with a really large population, like your school is also really vast.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like you don't really interact with the rest of your population as
No,
much.
that stresses me out.
I mean, it's like different. It's like so. Well, I mean, when you're on Central Campus and you're walking around between stuff, it just kind of feels like a GPS passing period where there's just a bunch of people going different directions, you know. And like, it's not much crazy or not. It's not like there's 40,000 people walking through the same hallways or same like areas at the same time, you know.
Like, do you ever have to push past people to get to class?
The only pushing stuff is when you're trying to get on a bus during peak time, but there's so many buses that it's not huge. Like, people are really, if you're, like, there's certain times where there's, like, the freshman engineering classes or, like, freshman, like, big lectures or something, and a lot of people are trying to go from, like, this one big freshman lecture to another big freshman lecture, and each one has, like, 500 people in it or something. And those 500 people are all trying to get on the same bus at the same time. And luckily, our bus system's really great, where there's like another bus every like 3 minutes. There's another bus, so like you won't be late if you miss the first couple. But it's literally people shoving each other, and you get in the bus and you like can't move, and you're like, oh my god, I'm stuck. I'm in this bus and I cannot move. And like everyone gets out at the same time too. But that's just like that's a very specific experience that like a lot of freshman first semester people will have, because you take like a big physics lecture, and then most people take that physics one and go straight to this one engineering one at the same time. Just because it's like a really, you start the day at a pretty nice time and it works out timing-wise. But yeah, usually like, especially being in engineering, almost all my classes are on North Campus, which is like a whole separate campus from everything else. So like, it feels like kind of a small school because there's only like, I don't know, it's like 8,000 or so people on like the School of Engineering area. Like, you know what I mean? It feels like a little small school inside a bigger one.
imagine myself being successful at a school that large. Even if it's like you feel like it's smaller,
I thought that too, honestly. I was kind of worried about the size, but I have not felt like it doesn't feel like a big school at all when I'm there, especially in engineering, but also, like, I was really worried, like, oh, it's a big school, it's going to be ridiculously competitive in engineering, but I think, honestly, because it's really big, I found, like, zero, like, competition. I mean, like, I guess there's some competition to get internships and stuff, but, like, Civil is, like, one of the smallest departments in engineering, so we're not, like, that's not super a big thing. Like, that's not ever a worry of mine, but also just the fact that, like, because there's so many people in your classes, it makes it there's like no competition. Like, if there's like 10, because all engineering classes are like curved, right? So if there are only 10 people in a class, you're like, if I want to get an A, I need to do better than 2 or 3 of these people, you know? But because there's like, the smallest class I had is like 60 people, like, there's never a worry of like, oh no, I shouldn't help this person do better, because like, yes, you should help them do better, because like, by helping them do better, you're going to do better, and like, it's not like, oh, one person's going to make or break my own grade, you know? Like, people love studying in groups and things like that. There's no mentality of, oh, people have to do worse.
I can't believe that people actually have that, like, sabotaging mentality.
I don't know if it actually does exist.
I've never been in a class where the grades were curved,
so
sure. I've never experienced
engineering,
that.
Everything is curved. I mean, like,
but like,
I think I had one class that
you,
wasn't curved. I mean, basically in engineering what they say is you always want to do better than the average. You always want to get, and like, that's all that matters, because you'll eventually curve to probably an A. So like, every single exam you take, like, after the exam is taken, they'll then like post like the distribution, like, here's the mean, here's the standard deviation, things like that. Like, your goal is just basically to get above the mean.
Do you need to be a whole standard deviation above the mean, or?
So usually like the mean is put, depending on the class, at a B or a B plus, and then, so if you're a standard deviation above, that means you're like another like part of. So if the mean was at a B, if you're a standard deviation above or more, you have a B plus or more. Or if the mean was at B plus, then you're a standard deviation, you're A minus or more, you know? So, like, basically the goal is always just to be above the mean, and usually always with the way things curve, you'll end up probably having an A-ish.
So honestly, like, what my friends at IWU who are, like, science majors, I don't understand, so I guess you always have the curve, you can always rely on the curve, but, like, it seems like it gives professors an excuse to not, like, kind of take a step back and not make it just, like, impossibly challenging, and, like, maybe even, like, be more hands-on in helping the students, because, like, oh, you'll get a curve eventually, but, like, why make the tests so incredibly hard?
Yeah.
Like, you always have that
bothers
curve.
me. That doesn't make any sense.
Like, why you set them up for success?
I agree. I guess, like, so it depends on the class. So certain classes, like, the curve sometimes, like,